welcome to another, I'll say, oh God, kettle cooked? Yeah, kettle cooked episode of Midlife Krisis. And now I, of course, want funnel cake. Fuck. That's fine. That's my challenge, not yours. I'm not going to put that on you today. It is, as we speak, the new year, which means that we just had the holidays.
Yes.
That just happened. I do want to talk about holiday-related gaming things. It could be, did you have fun with your kiddos playing games during the holidays? It could be, I played this fucking badass video game during the holidays. Whatever. That's what we're to do. Okay. And then we're also going to talk about the new Indiana Jones game. And the reason why we're doing that is because, A, Prince is here. He also loves it. Okay. And it's a game that I wasn't at all expecting to be as good as it is. And it's a game that, if I could, I would probably throw it in my top 5 games of last year. But I'm not going to because, honestly, who gives a shit? Who gives one shit about that? But let's start with my favorite and your favorite. I'm going to put words in your mouth.
Okay.
Props on the table. I have props on the table. Oh, I see you gravitated towards this.
Yeah.
So let's show the people. I'll show the people in the Robbie cam. There he is. So do you know what this is? Have you seen this item?
That looks like an Atari.
It does. It's different. Ataris used to be like 5 times the size and a lot more wood.
And with a cartridge slot.
Yes. This has only this tiny, this is wood, by the way, this wood panel here. So this, all this really essentially is a mini PC. And what's funny about it is the components in this are actually like pretty good. They're like good quality name brand components. Atari put this on the market via a Kickstarter, if I remember right, many years ago, like 2018-19. It did finally release, not only to the Kickstarter backers, but also wide release. You could buy this thing from fucking Best Buy, which is kind of funny. You can go buy a new Atari at Best Buy. Now, here's the kicker, friend. How much do you think that was when it first came out?
When this specific
Well,
device...
to be fair, so that came bundled with this joystick controller.
Okay.
And it's not on the table, but what they call a Pro controller, which is just an Xbox 360 controller.
Well, I'd have
that in the box.
Okay, well, I have some qualifying questions first before
That
I
makes
offer your
sense.
price. Does this plays just Atari games?
No.
Okay. What are we playing on here? What does this do?
Okay, maybe I should have done a better job explaining before I told you how much this thing is going to cost. So this is a mini PC. I can install Windows in this. Can I do it easily? No. More on that later. But if let's say you bought this and you're an Atari fan, and you're one of those silver ponytailed heroes that I love to refer to.
Right.
This game does come pre-installed with Atari Vault. So it has I think it's like 100 arcade, 2600, 5200, and I don't think there's any 7800 games on there. But there's a good suite of Atari games from the past. Now, what you can do beyond that, though, is with a USB that you have loaded in, like an operating system, for example, you can put Steam on this. You can play your good old games library. What most people do is they run Batocera on here, which I don't know if you're familiar with Batocera.
No.
That's like, it's an emulation front end, but it's like one of the best ones. And the amount of shit that you can emulate with it is insane. Like you can emulate fucking like pregnancy test stuff. Like the weirdest shit. Because someone ported Doom to a pregnancy test. Therefore, you can emulate that. But it's kind of more known for like arcade stuff. So if you ever want to play like San Francisco Rush, which I sure do, there's no real way to play the arcade version of that game. You can do it on Batocera. Now, before I go on to describing just how weird this thing is, I notice you are spinning that controller around. In reverse, though. So, to the Robbie cam. This is a rotary thing. Basically a pentometer, rotary controls. Did you ever play video games with rotary, ever in your life?
I don't think so, no. Wait,
you never played Arkanoid? Arkanoid?
Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah,
had an NES home controller.
Okay, so yes.
Tempest, of course.
No, well, but Arkanoid, yes.
You played Tempest right here in the dojo with my Atari Jaguar controller that has a rotary thing. You know, that's one of the biggest hooks about this thing for me, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But back to the system, I'll just tell you, this was a mini PC that everyone laughed at because the Atari #1 came out with it, and it's Atari. And
kickstarted it?
Yeah,
wow.
$400.
Okay, I would have guessed
$400.
I would have guessed a lot less than that.
Yeah, well, that's what I paid because during Black Friday, Atari blew this out. So $80.
Oh, okay.
I get this, both controllers. And I gotta say, so I am an Atari fan. I grew up with the 2600. I do think that 2600 games are really hard to go back to and try to like enjoy.
They're just too.
It's too obtuse and
Yeah.
it's
Crude.
like they're crude, and it's a good example of it. To make mode selections, you had to do it with literal hard toggle switches, which no one even understood that in the 70s, let alone today. Forget about it. But that's kind of all part of the package. There's a handful of 2600 games that I fucking love. I'll play right now, but that's because I had them when I was 4, so I have a lot of nostalgia for it.
It has a good look to it. It feels like a good device.
So people bought this thing because of the case and the PC side of this stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of people bought this is $80. You can run Kodi, all the shit that pirates like to do.
Yeah.
Runs flawlessly here, and it's in a really cool box. Put it under your TV, call it a day. I'm playing more of the Atari stuff on it. I haven't done any of the tinkering. You can expand the RAM on it up to 32 gigabytes, and then you can put an SSD, a SATA SSD. But it's like an expandable home console. It's kind of what this thing was. Now, obviously, it's Atari. When it came, no one bought it. Fucking nobody bought it.
So you're just playing ET 8 hours a day?
That's one of the downsides, actually, is that there's no licensed shit on here. And some of the better 2600 games, not including ET. Like Pitfall, for example, Pitfall 1 and 2.
Oh, that's
great games.
Arguably the best games on
I think a lot of
Atari.
people would probably say that. And they wouldn't be wrong to say that. But yeah, you can't play that stuff here because this is all Atari stuff and whatever Atari currently owns.
Can you emulate the Atari on
the system?
Yeah.
So this thing has Stella built in. Stella is like the number one, and has been for forever, the number one Atari everything emulator. It emulates all their systems, all the home computers, all that shit. And it's like officially licensed by the developers to be in here, and licensed by Atari. So the Atari of now, they brought out Atari 50, which I can't speak enough wonderful good things about.
I know, it's well received.
They bought I think they bought well, I know for a fact they bought Atari Age, which is like this whole like Atari fan thing. It's neat that they're doing that because now it's kind of all like official, whatever. But they bought oh god damn it! It's like one of the bigger. They bought something that's significant. I know it's not Good Old Games because that's CD Projekt, but they bought something that Atari is doing. Yeah, something. They bought something that matters. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Night Dive. They bought Night Dive Studios, and Night Dive Studios is putting out some of the best PC stuff for me and my sick brain that's out there. So they're responsible for the Kex engine, which if you've played. Like the recent release of Dark Forces, that's all done on the Kex engine. Yeah. I love Night Dive Studios. They speak to me personally. Do you remember the game Harvester?
That we played.
Harvester is here because of Night Dive Studios. They recently published and developed the new System Shock. It's a remake of the old System Shock.
Okay.
Received glowingly well. It's a really good thing for any company to have in their portfolio, and now Atari has it. So kudos. That's all the new CEO. The old CEO made really weird shit like this. And what I'm now, I want to button this up real quick. I fucking love rotary video games. I love them. There's a game called Breakout Recharge. It's just Breakout, but kind of all done up and new, and there's like power-ups and shit like that. And this feeling, it's so foreign to modern video games because no one does it. Same thing with like a trackball. Like no one uses them anymore. But when you get to use them, and it's done in a way, and I think all of the games I've played so far on this thing with the rotary control, it's fantastic.
That is interesting because for all the innovations of like the DualSense controller, there's nothing that you couldn't do a rotary function.
Think of the last time that happened. The last time an entirely new input, and even that wasn't entirely new. It was just kind of implemented.
It would be around. Well, when was it?
The Wii. Almost 20 fucking years ago, and now everyone. Go ahead.
Do you count the trackpad on the PlayStation?
Oh, that I didn't think of that, but you should. Even though no developer uses it properly.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it was good.
The new Spider-Man 2, which I'm finally now playing, like 18 months after it came out. Yeah. It has little swipes. If you swipe left, it does another thing. Yeah. But it's an innovation that no one, just like the IR camera on the Switch, it's an innovation. No one's using it. The rotary, there was a time where everybody used rotary or trackball, and like some of the ideas from development gameplay wise came from that input control. And I, for one, I'm playing Tempest 4000, that's rotary, Berserk Recharged, Breakout Recharged,
Yeah.
Asteroids Recharged. These are all, like, to me, evergreen games, and they are. Like, all of these, we'll do a Let's Play with some of this stuff at a later date. And, like, I already know, you're going to be like, well, yeah, this is actually really fun, and this doesn't suck. But it's like a breath of fresh air to, like, have this. It's a, like, 50, 60-year-old, like, pentometers have been around for a long time.
Right.
But to me, it feels like new again. Because, like, you just don't see it much at all anymore. I do wish that the rotary on this thing is not as buttery smooth as I would want it. So that's a complaint, but the fact that they did it and it exists is really, really cool. So that's that. That's the new, in quotes, new Atari VCS.
How was this received overall by the Kickstarter backers?
Oh, I don't know. But overall, poorly. Very, very poorly.
It's sold poorly. It could have been reviewed well.
No, it wasn't. It was neither. If you go back and look at, like, YouTube content or, like, website coverage of this thing, the takeaways are, like, just like what you said. Like, wow, this thing feels really nice. I'll never have this. I don't need this. It was really. That's kind of the interesting thing about it is, like, I don't even know who it's for, because, like, real Atari fans that, like, grew up with Atari, if they're still into it, they're only playing their old shit. And they're playing it on, like, an old-ass Radio Shack TV, the way nature intended. But apparently there was enough of a market. But I do think... are you breaking it already? Oh, yeah, look at that feature. To the Robbie camera. Look at this shit. Whoa. That's badass, dude. But yeah, it's just weird. You know me. I love weird little curios.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, do I love them when they're on clearance. Which brings me back to my...
That's when you love them the most.
That's when I love them
I love you the most when you're the cheapest.
Yeah, exactly. So again, in your hands, old CEO, the Atari Hotel and Cryptocurrency, old CEO. This thing that I'm going to put on my head right now, this is old CEO as well.
Wait, how long?
Hold on. I'm listening to music on my hat.
What music?
Oh, it's Oi, I believe. I believe we're listening to Oxblood.
God's music.
It's God's music. It's street Oi, obviously. I should stop it before I get a copyright. So I want to introduce you, nay, the world, to the official Atari speaker hat. So this is a real thing. Again, to the Robbie camera. So as you can see there, you've got speakers.
It's so much bulkier than I thought it was.
And so they do a good job of concealing it, I think, when you're looking at it head on as like a hat. Take me in my single there. I only look like a piece of shit. Not like a piece of shit with a speaker hat.
Awesome.
Here we go. Now we're cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Right on my eyebrows.
Yeah, totally. You look great.
You know you're wearing a hat, right, when you can't blink.
I can't blink.
I just love 1972, guys. Okay. Old Atari CEO. This, well, I will give it you. Yes, please play with it. Go ahead and play with it.
You got a little bit of weight to it. Right. You don't have lice, right?
Play tubs up and
Good idea.
You put it backwards so the speakers are in the back.
Well, that's the choice. You can have it sound like it's coming, coming from the back or the front.
It's chasing me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Give me some. Do you have any no effects in there? Or?
I don't.
No.
Nor would I ever.
All right. How about Blink 182?
Oh, tons. All of it. I support their entire catalog.
Okay, then just play Taylor.
That'll get instantly taken off the internet. Let's do. I think the Prince called it.
do Wildemar's finest Oi.
So I actually tried to cue that up, and then it played that Oxblood song instead. Here we go. Yeah, that's what we want. And now it's gonna get picked up. It's probably gonna be screaming on your mic right now. There we go.
Oh yeah.
See, he looks cool, right? He looks badass in that speaker hat.
Makes me want to fight.
Hey guys,
Okay.
let's go fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
He's a real street tough.
Well, I don't know about him. He's a real street tough.
Real ruffian.
Old CEO. So, as you've now experienced,
Well, don't take it.
you're right. It's better on you. Wait. Real high on the hog there. Real high.
Newspapers?
Yeah, exactly. So old. It's funny to say old. Again, this is going back like 5 years, but I'm going to keep saying old Atari CEO thought that was a good idea.
And it is a good idea. It's a genius.
Yeah, you're right. Is it a good idea to charge $130 for a speaker hat?
Hold on, Ryan. How much did you pay for it? Let's see how good of an idea it was.
$8. So it was because I bought this. Atari emailed me and said, "Hey, you sound like a real fucking dumb idiot. We got these speaker hats. You want to like, I don't know, you want to buy one? Because like, we got a lot of them in inventory and they got to move, right?" And so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy one of your totally dumb speaker hats, Atari. Pump the brakes. I'm definitely gonna give you the money, and I did, and that's the result.
Yeah, but you didn't give him $130.
No, that was never gonna happen. Yeah, they had the audacity to charge $130 for a speaker.
And then they had to develop an app for it, right? That's how you were playing the music?
Oh, no, it's just Bluetooth.
Oh, so you just played like Spotify or something?
So just the other day, just for funsies, I connected it to my Steam Deck, and as I was ruthlessly and again smashing human skulls on Manhunt, I did it. With
the bone crunches coming through the
and you hear Brian Singer say, "Kill them all!" That game, real quick birdwalk on that game, just ever so quick. It will never be made ever again. Ever. No game will ever come close to the majesty and the offense, the direct offense to humanity that is Manhunt. It's what a wonderful game.
And published by like one of, even at the time, preeminent publishers in gaming. Yeah. It was Rockstar.
And so the game was made when arguably they're at even though they're worth so much more money now, in my mind, I think that they were even more untouchable when Manhunt came out. And that's the proof is that Manhunt came out.
Yeah.
Nobody told them no. Not even the ERSB. Like the ERSB, when they rated Manhunt 2, they're like, "Oh God, no, we can't do this. You're ripping off testicles in this game, guys. Do you realize?" So they had to put this whole stupid censorship thing on that ruined the game, and not in like a "Daddy wants his violence" kind of way.
What was the ERSB or whatever threatening to do? That you can't block the game's release.
No, you give it yes, you can. You give it an adults only rating, and that is effectively blocked, especially in 2007.
Because no major retailers then will link it.
No, exactly. And that game was released on the Wii. It was released on the PSP and I think PS2 at the time.
I actually agree with you that Rockstar would never do this, but it does seem like you could do it now because the chokehold. You don't care if 3 different retailers like Best Buy and Target don't carry it anymore. Mm-hmm. If you can convince Steam to carry it, you're good. And Steam has actual porn games. And
I'm curious, I would love to know what the actual sales of that stuff is. Pardon me.
Of what, the porn?
Of porno on Steam, yeah. Because to me, if you're purchasing it in any media, you're doing it wrong, number one. And then secondly,
right.
Like if you need, as in like you need to have trophies, that kind of need.
Yeah, go on.
Now you've got me, talk slow. Like that's another step where it's like it's got to be interactive. But look, I am only but a mere mortal. I don't know what these true PC master race people. They must know what they're doing because obviously Steam has a bunch of adults only content on there.
I have a friend who shall be unnamed and probably doesn't watch this show, but I just perused through his Steam wish list.
Oh no!
We talked on a previous episode about my Steam wish list, curating it down to 100. He had over 300 games onto his wish list, and a not insignificant number of them are some variant of dating games.
Oh boy!
And, and one of them appears to be called Beauties. They're all after me.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like the bachelor in the apartment that you just moved into, and there's a whole bunch of like sorority girls.
Sure do hope these beauties are all north of 5'8".
The way they actually do the type font for the game, it looks like it's bow ties, mm-hmm. BEAU, and then ties, and one of those like amazing Japanese things, like when we got our pictures done at round 1. That heroin face.
Heroin face, that was the name. Look it up. That's the actual brand of the machine.
So it looked like, but anyway. Let's just say there's a lot of suspect content on Steam that is, I don't know if it's becoming more and more prevalent, but I'm seeing it in wish lists now that I kind of wish that I wasn't.
It's, if you so if you don't have it like hidden on your search tools on Steam, like it's like every other game now. And I always thought that when because they did this whole like Usher in the Flood type thing. If you remember, it was because of that crypto scam. There was an app on Steam that was secretly mining crypto coin that you bought. You gave this company money, and it was supposed to be a game, and it would use your PC to mine coin in the background. And then Steam was a bunch of shit was levied to Steam about this, and they were like, "Yeah, that does suck. What should we respond with?" Oh, I know. Porno games are now going to be on Steam. That's literally how that went. They were like, "Yeah, no, we can't do that." But there's an argument to be made about all these porno games. Which look, I'm a deviant, so like I have no dog in this race. But I would rather play one of those games publicly because it's funny than to actually use for what it's intended to do. But all right. Anyway, that's a digression. So yeah, Atari made a fucking speaker hat, and I bought it for $8.
Not only bought it, but then played Manhunt and got to listen to grisly deaths. With the sound coming as close to your ears as is humanly possible.
No, they could be earphones. They could be like, and they would. Right. This doesn't sound very good as well. That's on top of that. So $130.
Speak for yourself, bro.
You're right. Well, speaking of incredibly famous hats, let's talk about that Indiana Jones game, pal.
Okay.
So you and I haven't talked about it at all with the exception of I know that you're playing it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned. The one and only note that you mentioned was that like the gameplay is so far just okay. And we're going back weeks, by the way. At that point, I'd probably just barely played it. Prince, same boat, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm almost done with it. How much more have you played? How much more have you played?
I'm 20% of the way in, maybe.
Okay. And you're in back half?
The end of Egypt, it feels like.
Okay. So I'm not at Egypt.
Okay. So I think you're who gives a shit?
We go to Egypt?
Yeah, that's badass, dude. The band Nile is there, and you like eat pizza with the Colonel. It's fucking cool. And then you make $200. Oh, the joys of being in a death metal band.
Play again with listening to Black Seeds of Vengeance.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's a really solid clue. Well, you guys talk about football. I'll talk about death metal.
Well, I don't know about Indiana Jones, and I don't know about death metal. So,
all right, I guess football and Taylor Swift it is again.
Yeah, we're just taking to school right now.
That's true.
Right. Where's Taylor and Travis right now? Are they playing? Where's your live feed?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, you don't want to know the update.
Is it bad? Is Denver now down?
It's bad.
Oh, well, boy. What is it? What's the score?
31-24.
Well, what?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He's getting his phone out.
So anyways, you're saying, Brian, about
go and take me to single.
Indiana Jones.
Robbie's going to be busy for a little while.
No, I got Robbie on single.
Yeah.
I got the important thing.
Yeah.
You sit on a throne of lies, sir.
The guy who says lying rules. Anywho. Yeah, this Indiana Jones game, let me tell you. I wasn't expecting much. I saw that trailer when we all did. Was that game show or the Xbox showcase?
The Xbox showcase.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked an impressive, very expensive video game with a Harrison Ford model that looked just like young Harrison Ford.
Definitely.
So now, having played almost all of it, and I mentioned earlier, like this is one of my favorite games of the year, and it came out like the last week of the year, some crazy shit like that. It actually reminds me of so Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube, same deal. It came out like a week before Christmas, and that's a game that is like to this day considered like the best Smash Brothers. It's still played all over the world, blah blah blah, and it's like. That release window is such a weird one because it's so easy for a game to just be completely forgotten about.
Once you're past Thanksgiving, all the awards shows have their nominees locked in. People already have their Christmas list written out if you're a kid gamer.
And I think it kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. This is obviously just speculation, but I think it maybe speaks to the quality that they knew they had with it. Where like, we're going to release this game and people are going to fucking love it and they're going to talk about it and because it's really good. And they were right. Because people love it and it's really high quality and it's really good. I'm shocked at how good it is. Like I mentioned earlier, like I probably would go back and put this in my best game, my top 5 of the year for last year. I think it's that good. Like there's, I'm never, what's it called? Like I never feel like I'm doing anything monotonous because there's so many. It's not an open game, like an open world game. but it is in the same way.
Quasi-open world.
Yeah, it's like a quasi-open world thing. Just the attention to Indiana Jones detail of making it feel.
So that's the big hook.
And I think we're all fans here. And I don't think any of us have any Indiana Jones tattoos or anything crazy like
fans
that.
of the original trilogy, at least.
Yeah. I'm a Crystal Skull guy. That's it. 180. I like Phantom Menace, I like Crystal Skull. That's it. Those are the only 2 movies I watch. Every weekend.
I mean, you do have the Darth Maul tie-dye.
I don't. I wish I did. I wish I still had that shirt. Yeah, I know. But believe me, it's, yeah. I'm sure there's a sad sound on the...
the sad trumpet.
Yeah. Here, I'll cue it for you. I no longer own a tie-dye shirt with Darth Maul on it.
I should have put the club horns.
Either one. But anyway, like the Harrison Ford's model, it looks incredible. It looks like fucking Harrison Ford. More so impressive is Troy Baker's performance of.
Yes.
And we've talked about this off the show, and again, rampant speculation, but it's so good that I don't think any of us would be surprised if it came out there's some sort of AI tooling that helped it further along. I don't know if that's true. I also wouldn't be shocked at all if there was none of that, because I think Troy Baker has the resume and the experience to... I mean, he's like a best-in-class voice actor.
He was already the best voice actor before he did this, and now he's getting extra plaudits for this.
Well, because it's like, he's good as an actor, period, in voice. And he's actually a decent actor in real life, too. He was on the live-action Last of Us.
That's right.
Yeah, when they go to
one of the
cannibal town, and he's one of the main bad guys. But so he's a good actor in his own right. Now he's like a master impressionist. Again, if there's no fancy Dan trickery going on there, the dude just nails a perfect, like the way he yells when that Harrison Ford, I didn't kill my wife. That Harrison Ford yell,
that guy.
It's perfect. Like it sounds just fucking like him. And so my wife's watching me play, my son's watching me play, and we kind of got on this Indiana Jones kick, and we watched a little bit of the first movie. And just so I could show my son like the character model.
And the shot-for-shot comparison.
Yeah, exactly. The shot-for-shot remake of the opening of the game. And it's just, I don't know. It's great. I think like so many of us, I completely written off Indiana Jones as an IP, as a thing, because I'm not going to watch the most recent one. I know you have.
I've watched Isle of Destiny.
Oh, I thought you did, and said it was okay. I know someone who watched it and said like they knew what they were getting into. They knew it was going to be a terrible movie, but like it was so bad that it made them like kind of like appreciate the Crystal Skull a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah. And
so worse than Crystal Skull.
Because the Crystal Skull is one of the most embarrassing movies I've ever seen.
I couldn't agree more.
It was like,
and I've not seen Dial of Destiny, but because of that reason.
Until the Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, when
that's the noticeable turn.
And there's like 45 more minutes of movie after that, maybe an hour or more movie, something like that.
And the movie is just
boy. Yeah, that South Park episode where they are gang raping Indiana Jones is accurate. But yeah, so this is a better Indiana Jones movie than the Indiana Jones movies.
How much you didn't do the whole trilogy with your family? Don't show your son after this. You just showed him.
We just turned on Raiders of the Lost Ark just for like the opening scene. I want to go back and watch all of them.
Okay.
Well, the old ones.
Yeah.
And we have a soft commitment here in the household that we're going to do that. But we were talking off air about Temple of Doom. People love to shit on Temple of Doom, which that is something that I've aged out of completely, just like have someone, or I guess not aged into. Because to me, Temple of Doom, that's my Indiana Jones. Just like some poor 30-year-old is going to say, like, Phantom Menace is my Star Wars. Which exists. That exists.
Not like Episode 9, that's garbage. The real Star Wars was the 1999.
And there's going to be people who are like, no, this Episode 9 really gets a bum rap. It's great.
Continues to circle the drain.
Just how things are going. But yeah, it's I am blown away by everything about it. Graphics, sound, gameplay. It's a shockingly good licensed game.
Yeah.
So where are you with this?
Okay, so I play what so. Let me say that when I told you the gameplay was just okay, that's because I just played that and the very initial level.
I mentioned that when we were talking about it because it was really early on,
and it did feel just okay. It was like a little annoying that I've talked to somebody else who's had the same complaint. when you come across a spider web, you have to push a button to engage with the spider web, and then push a second button to actually move it to the side. It's a little like distracting. You should just be able to push a button and just move the spider web to the side.
I would agree with that.
That's such a minor complaint.
That's actually the only complaining at all I have in the game, and it is very light in contrast to all the praise I have for it, is the inventory stuff. I think it's they try to tie it all to the D-pad, which is fine. Like, it's on the controller. Like, I'm not playing on PC, so I don't know where else you would put that kind of shit. But it is a little bit on the clunky side.
My other complaint, at least when I first started playing it, is, man, did that game have high performance requirements. I have a 4090 and the second highest processor that Intel has put out, and I could not run that game at full settings with full ray tracing on.
That's crazy.
And it's the first game I've ever had that has that existence.
This is like your first block game?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. My computer should be, what? This is a used car.
Well, because if I can't do it, that means literally nobody can do it.
Obviously,
so it's like, who are you building this for? So...
That was a real stunning revelation, but continue.
Since then, NVIDIA put out some drivers, and then I turned on frame generation. This is how much of a snob I am about this, by the way. Frame generation helps your frame rate by like 50%, and it hurts your visual quality by like 5%. But I really try to resist even getting a 5% degradation, even if it means getting a 50% up to 50% increase in frame rate, because I shouldn't need that. I need that number, the frame number, to be 60 or higher.
Right.
Then after that, I don't care.
Then it's a victory.
And then, but Indiana Jones, I was only able to get like, it was in the 40s on average with the full ray tracing on. So I didn't turn on
native 4K.
Yeah,
come on. What are you Philistines here?
So and the monitor, my monitor size is 45 inches, so it is a lot to like render.
Yeah.
But anyway, because I turned on DLSS, and then because of the new drivers, I now am able to play it the way it's meant to. And it is awesome graphically. I mean, it is, when you're after the initial scene, when you're in like the library scene, when you're meeting with the guy in the Vatican, I guess it is.
Yep.
There's like light that comes in, and like God rays and all that.
All of that shit is the best I've ever seen. I'm playing on Xbox and Series X, and I love that this game doesn't give you the option for, and if maybe it does and I haven't found it, but I've checked. I've looked all through the options and I can't find it. But there's no resolution or performance. It's just here's Indiana Jones, and that's what I want. I hate that fucking option. And real quick side birdwalk, my friend got a PS5 Pro. That option still exists
in the PS5
in PS5 Pro games. Now there's more options. It'll be, there's regular resolution, then there's regular performance, then there's PS5 Pro resolution and PS5 Pro performance. Get out!
Yeah. And you would expect with a Microsoft Studios game that they know they're working on the hardware, they own the developer, like there would be some fidelity there. But you would also expect that with Sony games. So
before I turn it back over to you, you mentioned that and I brought this up too. So I've played tons of Xbox games using the quick resume feature, and it fails all the time.
Oh, really?
All the time.
That's news to me.
Has that been your experience?
I have not had that experience.
Okay, so for me, it fails a lot. And Indiana Jones is the first time where like I actually like am not depending on this, but like I have there's a certain amount of faith I have in using this feature on my system with this game. Whereas like that faith years ago lost because it jammed me so many times. Now it could be I have a lemon of a console. I don't know. You guys are both telling. I know you don't play your Xbox all that much because why the fuck would you? You have a PC. And you play yours all the time because that's what you majorly game on. Right?
That's the only thing I play is the Switch, but I also work all the time. So.
That too, yeah. Which, well, we're gonna solve that problem as soon as our new podcast starts.
That's how much confidence I have.
Cool. We'll be just fine. But yeah, it runs incredibly well on the Xbox, and as to your point, it should because they're right next door.
So and it's nice to have an Xbox game. It's like I want Xbox to succeed. Microsoft Sony needs competition.
Oh yeah.
So this is great. If Hellblade 2 cannot be Game of the Year, then it's nice to see that Microsoft was capable of putting out something that is fantastic. So since I have played not a ton more, but some more, and a couple levels more, It's really, really fun. And the most fun thing about it, is probably just looking at it, because graphically it's one of the best games I've ever seen. But part of having that kind of graphic fidelity is it really helps you to feel like you're Indiana Jones in an Indiana Jones world. So Troy Baker's fantastic, pitch perfect, voice acting is just great.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like the sound effects that you're doing, the sneaking around. Even like when Harrison Ford is like mumbling to himself, he'll do that in the movies.
Yep.
And you'll see it's like, oh, this is the picture that I need. All right. And it's like he's kind of talking to himself, but kind of not.
Who the fuck does the federal government think that they can control my life when clearly that power should be relegated down to the states? Indiana Jones is a states' rights guy.
He'll be the first guest on the States' Rights podcast.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Indiana Jones.
Shut up with the whip.
Just ready to go.
We're the Nazis.
Well, the irony there. Yeah.
So anyway, I have had a very good time with the game. I'm looking forward to what's next. There's a couple blue-haired indie games I got to finish first.
You got to get through what you got to get through.
Yeah, a few other trophies to get, a couple platinums.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Full schedule.
And you have more years to avoid playing Elden Ring, as is your destiny.
All right. So what else do you want to talk about?
This Indiana Jones game is so freaking good. You know where else it shines? In the I'm from Wildemar and my reptile brain overpowers the rest category. Because braining Nazis with melee weapons is so satisfying in this game.
Yeah.
If you look at our channel, our shorts channel, or whatever that thing's called, there's a thing there that I made. And it's me braining a Nazi who's guarding a hole. The prince taught me about this hole.
I was going to say it.
What's the party horn on that?
You can't.
It's fine. Yeah, it'll all get all fixed in the wash.
All right. You're talking about this one?
Yes. This Nazi slid right down into this hole
Yeah.
after I brained him with a fucking whiskey bottle or whatever it was. But yeah, no, it tells me that they know what they're doing beyond what they already know what they're doing, is that they know how to cater towards the true warriors who have just the lowest of brows.
I saw that short, and I saw the two of you talking about it, and some other social media people have put something similar on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a known moment in the game that I guess I'll get to when I get
the
to
Nazi hole is another
the
thing.
Nazi hole.
I'll meet you at the Nazi hole.
That's a pretty sweet bar.
That's where the States' Rights podcast is going to go.
So, but my complaint is that it was almost like instinctual. But when I heard him fall down the hole, I was absolutely expecting a Wilhelm scream,
Mm-hmm.
which is every Indiana Jones
I think
movie.
you're right about that, yeah.
And I believe is in the public domein now, so
It is.
you don't have to pay a copyright for it.
Nope.
So
What are we doing?
6 out of 10 game.
Yeah. You mean it. Out the door.
Yeah.
Now, when you interacted with the Nazi hole,
Yeah.
did you have the pleasure of the Nazi dying at the bottom of the hole?
I didn't know you dated Ann Coulter. That's cool.
States right.
Oh, he's not at the Nazi hole.
I'm not at the Nazi
Oh, that's
hole.
right.
Sorry,
He has not gone to
I
the
will
Nazi
let
hole
you
yet.
know. I just know about it because of you two and because of what I've seen online.
Did you have him do that? Did he like moan and die slowly at the bottom of the hole?
A couple times, yeah. Now, again, just like you, 1935 times I've done this.
Yeah.
Where in different angles,
19 or 35
different weapons.
Yeah.
I have walked behind him. I have stalked behind him.
Wait, what do you do? Do you just like hit him and then pause and then
no,
check
the world is yours when it comes to the Nazi hole. You do whatever you want.
Further shoved him down
Yeah.
his chair.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Stood on top and fell in.
how do you replay the scene though to do it a second time?
Oh, you
or
die.
19th
You
time?
purposely die. And
So then
go
you jump
back,
down the hole
and then
after.
you-
Fall down.
I've done that. Yeah, that's the quickest way if you want to experience the Nazi. To return to the Nazi hole the quickest, just go into the Nazi hole. Everyone knows that. But yeah, it is just a highlight of a game, and this is a part of it as well. So yeah, it just completely took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting any of this stuff, and here we are. It was a really cool, pleasant very pleasant surprise.
Is the thing that you like most about the game, you're not really like a super story guy. I assume that the story kind of just holds everything together, but probably...
The story is obviously better than the fucking schlock that they try to pass off as Indiana Jones movies for the last 20 years or whatever it's been.
Okay. But are you going to tell me that the game is great because of the fun gimmick of throwing Nazis down the Nazi hole?
The game absolutely gets more greatness because they could have not have done that.
Right.
So we talk about our Venn diagram a lot, right?
Yeah.
And one area where I wish we can improve, and I think in 2025, let's put our heads together, let's do this.
All right, I'm ready.
We're going to sit down, we're going to play Dave Mirra 2 together for a really long time.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think what that's going to do is it's going to give you a proper street education in why these things are as important and as needed as they are in the video game.
What are these things?
Ragdoll physics and you using them to make yourself laugh. So in Dave Mirra 2, masterpiece of a video game, they knew right away, well, people are going to want to bail off this bike on top of a water slide. Yeah. And they were right. They gave you that feature, right? That's a feature. And in Indiana Jones, the Nazi hole and braining, you get a trophy for, well, actually you don't get a trophy because it's not on PlayStation. You get an achievement for just like Double J braining a Nazi with an acoustic guitar.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's just fucking great. And you can't tell me this because I'm not going to believe you. They absolutely knew what they were doing by putting these wonderful ragdoll effects and like the visceral feel of bashing one of these Nazis. I never use my gun. It's a first-person shooter game. You have guns. There's no need for the gun. In fact, if you use guns, it kind of makes it a lot harder because then you're notifying all the Nazis, including the Nazi hole Nazi. He'll come to you, which is strictly illegal. He was posted at the hole.
He needs to die in the hole.
If the Fuhrer found out about this,
he's there to guard the hole.
Yeah, the antiquities in the hole. But yeah, it's that is absolutely a part of it that I love and appreciate, and they could have not have put it in, and they made the right choice. They put that stuff in, just like the heroes at Dave Mirra 2. Now, on top of all that stuff, you have an incredible first-person adventure game. The story is excellent, and when it comes to video game stories, it's up there. It's right on up there. I've not once rolled my eyes at anything. I've not tuned out anything like that. I've not been viscerally offended by anything that I've seen. Right. And I don't think that, like I said, I'm pretty much at the end of the game. I don't think that, unless they decide to Crystal Skull you, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of aliens coming out of the woodwork.
Or just Shia LaBeouf shows up at the end of the game.
Yeah, and he's just really fucking weirdly green screen vine swinging.
But then maybe you could shove him down the Nazi holes.
Oh my god. That's a $50 DLC purchase. Yeah. I get to push Shia LaBeouf down the Nazi hole? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? But you know, and everything about it is like, if you give me a metric, I would say like, this is why it's great in this game. It's that good.
And Mr. Prince, I assume you'd say the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably my game of the year. Like, I think it's easily my game of the year.
Yeah.
Like, my daughters will come watch me play the game. They don't care about any of the games I play. My kids will sit there and cackle when I push Nazis in the hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
you're doing your job as a father.
This is what we do to Nazis in this house.
You push them in a hole. Yeah.
They love it, and the fact that they can sit there and watch me play this game, and I play a lot of games.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything, but they'll sit and watch that one. Both of them will just sit there and watch it.
It speaks to. So a lot of games, I think, when I describe games, maybe using the word cinematic, I would use that in a negative connotation.
Yes, yeah.
In this context, it's like it excels in that, and it's the way to do it. Like, if you're going to make a cinematic experience of a video game kind of a thing, make it like this game, where, yeah, it's got cutscenes, all that stuff's fine, but there's never too much of them. They never go too long, and there's so much exposition and things that happen while you're playing the game, and that's what I want. That's if more games are made like this, I would be a happy camper.
There's a whole bunch of collectibles and stuff, though, right? Aren't you? How in are you on that?
Well, I don't suffer from that psychosis, so I just ignore most of them. There's been a lot of side stuff that I've done though, because it's generally fun, and you do get there's like an experience points type of a currency system in the game that encourages you to do the side missions to get a little stronger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you feel that stuff. I think that's another aspect of the game I think is really well done. Like you feel your character's progression happen, and the way that they do it is totally practical and logical to happen in the world. Like you buy books, and the books teach you things, and then you apply that knowledge to what you're doing.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like, okay. Thank you for
That's
being.
what Indiana would do.
This is exactly. He is a doctor. Got it. He will read and write thesi.
Dr. Jones.
Yes. But yeah, it blew me away as to how good it is. Wasn't expecting any of this stuff, and it's not my game of the year overall, but it definitely would knock off at least a couple from my list were I to go and retroactively put it on. Which I'm not.
So right, but I'm guessing you would probably put it third behind Astrobot and Yakuza.
I think that's where it's wonderfully nestled. Yeah, because I don't like it as much as either of those two games.
Right. But you like it a lot.
I like it a whole lot. I like it to the tune of a bronze medal, and up against those two things.
Yeah, well, no shame in being the third best game.
No, look, to me, it beat out the best Call of Duty that I've played in 17 years. Yeah. And I love that. Called Black Ops 6 is a fantastic game. Really, really, really good. But Indiana Jones would have definitely pushed it off of my list. And I don't remember what the other game was.
Right.
Actually, no, it was Zelda. It was Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah. Well, that seems right.
No.
Yeah.
But it's real solid, and yeah, you should play more of it.
Go. I'll go home and look for that Nazi hole.
Indeed. Get to Egypt. Go ahead and park that game save at the Nazi hole, and you've got to
leave here and go straight to the Nazi hole.
Absolutely, you are. I wonder if, as YouTube is checking what we're saying, I wonder if there's a count.
If you say the word Nazi like 100 times, yeah.
Yeah, well, specifically Nazi hole, they really don't like that. They really, really don't like that.
Yeah, I guess you'll find out.
If you combine that with the number of times you've said states' rights recently, then
we're in trouble.
Yeah, I know we're
Weird algorithm.
Yeah.
Maybe a profitable.
Actually, I would argue that if we said states' rights more,
right,
we'll probably get a little bit more.
True. Making it to 2026, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there. But hey, we're going to try.
We got this far.
Yeah, best we can do. Yeah. All right. Any other items of business related to either speaker hats or
that speaker hat was quite the hit.
I do understand. Let's get that back on the table. Let's just get that speaker hat right back on the
table. I wish you would queue up some Blink-182 for me to listen to.
Okay. So. Let's go out on that. I will. Yeah. I'll take care of this for you.
So Prince, we need a cut at exactly 4 seconds because I think that's fair use at least.
I want to say it's 15 seconds.
I want to push it.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Well, if we can get 15 seconds, then you might as well queue up.
Well, let's do this.
Okay.
As we wind, we're going to play. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is a new game show that I'm just starting right now. It's called Pop That Popper, and it's a pop quiz. I'm going to play garbage pop punk bands for 5 seconds, and you have to guess who it is.
Oh, no problem.
I have a lot of expectations here. Okay, and once again, this new fucking entire segment of the show is brought to you by speaker hats.
The Atari Pong speaker hats, 1972.
Okay, here we go. And this is number one band, Pop That Popper. Here we go. 1, 2,
just a
3, 4.
Oh, that's Lagwagon.
He's ding ding ding.
I was going to guess Lagwagon before I even heard the song.
Just the drum roll.
It's a low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this one. Here we go. Pop That Popper. I'm doing this just for funny, just for the funnies. Okay, this is really this is a test of a test. So I'm going to do this, just kind of a random. Okay, oop, there we go. And then we're going to do this.
Don't know just from the bass. Still don't know it. Still don't know it. Still. Oh.
This is the most annoying thing I've ever heard.
Did you know the song was going to be played?
It's all random. Who do you got? Ladies and gentlemen, that was NoFX.
Oh,
was that like from the 80s or something? NoFX?
2012. I literally just went to Spotify and went, garbage, random trash, random terrible trash, and then it played that song.
I don't know. No effects' new music.
Okay, we'll do 2 more of this award-winning segment.
Yeah, it's just
Award-winning.
quality content.
That's all I know how to produce, sir. Here we go. And tell me who this is.
Still on man.
A little more.
I really need to hear some of the lyrics,
Of course, you would need to hear the lyrics.
or at least the sound of the singer's voice.
Same band, different tune. Says it all. Says it all.
Walking in my room.
Do you want to guess? Inland Empire's Finest. This is embarrassing.
Inland
The
Empire.
Inland Empire's Finest. Capital F. You should know who this is.
Let's just cut this segment.
Teriyaki Mono in the backseat.
Oh, that's Guttermouth.
That's Guttermouth. That's Guttermouth.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I'm not cutting this. This is a learning lesson for you.
Sorry. I'm taking the hat off. Yeah, this is...
All right. Well, one more.
Yeah.
I'll take over.
You should have just played Teriyaki Mono.
No, I shouldn't.
You should
Definitely not. Okay. Last one. We can think of a good one. Think of a real good barn burner here. Okay. And let's do this guy. And here we go. Go.
That's loud like it again.
Yeah, it was. Because it's all the same.
It's all the same. Quick question.
Pop quiz hotshot.
Pop quiz hotshot. Oh, Mom came into my room. All right, well, we're never doing that again. But I'm sure glad we went on the ride together. Yeah. Okay, well, that's the program. Play Indiana Jones.
Sure.
Play Indiana Jones. And then Gentleman's Handshake.
All right.
Here we go.